What's good, YouTube? This is Admin Umbra back for another Rocket HQ viewer submission. This time the new and improved Rocket HQ viewer submissions. And as always, Rocket people, I am joined by the one, the only Admin Shade.
What is going on, Rocket people? Admin Shade here. Not only do we have a viewer submission for you, but we actually have a brand new layout for you as well. As you can see, it is beautiful. There are these big, awesome buttons that are below me here in Admin Umbra. You can click on those to get to all of our links that are important, like Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Prezi, and also our donation page for capture cards for community, as well as our Google Drive that has all of our information on the tier system, viewer submissions, contracts, elite mod applications, all that good stuff. So please check those out. In addition to that, we have this newest tool that we're really excited about with the team preview. Umbra, show them this beauty. So now, bam! Now we have
Pow!
Basically what this means is that we now have the capability in team preview to like circle teams, important members of the team, maybe what they might be doing, who they might be trouble for. It basically lets us do like this Madden approach to Pokemon, which, come on, everyone's been waiting for that. So yeah, that gives you an idea, but today's viewer battle is against Nikki and Ian. So we will talk about these teams briefly, and then we will jump into the battle. If you ever want to do a viewer submission like this, there'll be a link in the description. You can also check out the Google Drive page to see exactly what you should do for viewer submission, how we will look at them, what we look for when we do viewer submissions. So yes, this could be you very easily. So without further ado, let's talk about these teams and jump into the battle. Umbra, you go first.
Awesome, let's get started. Excellent job, Shade. So right off the bat, looking at these teams, you know, when you're looking at teams, and first of all, thank you so much to Nikki for sending in this battle. Really, really fun battle. I think one we can all learn a lot from. When you're looking at teams, you're looking at a matchup, you always want to remember to assess threats. It's important that you look at your team and your opponent's team and realize what are the biggest threats to your team and vice versa, and what mons are going to become important. So looking at Ian's team, we can see that Nikki is being playing very risky. She has a defensive core composed almost entirely, really completely entirely, of fairy types. Obviously, this is an OU meta where we have Scizor, we have Aegislash, even other Excadrills. So having that prominent a steel weakness on a defensive core is kind of an issue. Looking at Ian's team, we hope that Ian realizes that his Scizor can basically sweep through Nikki's entire team. The only things that are really going to stop it, I'm so excited I forgot to pull my pen out. This Scizor right here, the only thing that's really going to stop it is a few threats on Nikki's team. We see the Infernape, obviously, and we see the Excadrill. Assuming it's a Choice Scarf Excadrill, both of these will actually stop Scizor from sweeping the rest of her team. And seeing that, Ian actually did a very good job of bringing this Keldeo and the Moltres, two mons that we've been seeing used a lot more on YouTube lately. Obviously, the Moltres is probably Scarfed and serves as a direct counter to this Infernape. Very effective at taking that out. And then obviously the Keldeo, depending on its set, the Excadrill might be Scarfed to deal with other Excadrills. But if Ian manages his threat well and uses the Keldeo to take out the Excadrill, then his Scizor has a clean warpath through Nikki's team. So a very interesting matchup right off the bat. Looking at Ian's team, he should know that Levi will be virtually useless between an Ambipom and an Infernape. Possibly even a Scarfed Excadrill. I wouldn't see too much value there. He does also have the Mew. We all know how I feel about Mew. I predict it be a lead. I hope we see an offensive Scizor and a utility Mew. I hope that he has Defog on the Mew instead of the Scizor. It'll serve him better in this battle. But Shade, what do you think of Nikki's team? Let's move right along.
Nikki's team is decently solid. As you said, there's not a whole lot in terms of bulk other than the Sylveon and possibly the Togekiss. It really just depends. But really, like you said, the defensive core of Fairy is actually kind of risky, seeing as how, like you said, there are so many steel threats to deal with. That being said, there's a lot of different kind of sets that you can run on these guys that allows you to try to dance around steel a little bit more. And I feel like Nikki might have some more on her team that would be able to take that kind of threat out if presented. But we're really going to have to jump in and see. So without further ado, let's see if Nikki can take on Ian, and let's see if she can win this battle.
Let's get into it.
Everyone, thank you so much for your support so far. We've been having a whole lot of fun doing viewer submissions as well as our stream and our YouTube. We're bringing a whole lot more your way, so please check out Rocket HQ for more information on what we're doing differently.
Alright, so we do see leads come out. The nice and powerful shiny, the Fred Flintstone, the Excadrill comes on out. And we do see the Moltres, a very probable lead from Ian, guaranteeing it is Scarfed. A little bit of a risky play because we don't know if the Excadrill is Scarfed. The Moltres does in fact reveal the Scarf, go for a U-turn. Simple enough lead. I easily could have gone for that as well. And now let's see what Ian's going to go into on this Excadrill, knowing how big a threat it is to his team.
Yeah, and the Mew does switch in, which is actually a pretty interesting play by Ian, because Mew probably carries Stealth Rocks and stuff like that. The Excadrill does go for the Earthquake, doesn't do that much damage at all, and the Mew goes for the Will-O-Wisp. The Will-O-Wisp from the Mew is beautiful.
Yes. I've never seen Will-O-Wisp on a Mew actually, but I love it. I love the defensive utility getting out here. Nikki doing a good job putting up Stealth Rocks, obviously recognizing that Moltres is a threat, but I'm not sure I agree with her leaving this Excadrill in on the Mew. She should realize that Excadrill is going to be really, really important to stopping that Scizor sweep. And now its health is way too low. It cannot take bullet punches at this range of health. Excadrill was an asset. And we see it is burned, but she does have Togekiss and Sylveon, 2 Mons known to carry Heal Bell. So I'm not sure I agree with this sputtering off one of the only Mons that stops Scizor. But here Ian makes an interesting play as well, going for Stealth Rocks. Even though Nikki's rocks are still up and he has a Moltres, I think if he has Defog, he definitely should have gone for that before going for his own rocks.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because throwing up rocks in front of this Rapid Spinner probably wasn't the best move in the world, especially because he doesn't have a spin blocker as far as I was aware. He does go for the counter, and it does not do enough to kill this Excadrill. So really, as far as hazards go, he didn't really make the best play ever, because now he has rocks on his side, and obviously Nikki does not, so that can be problematic for him later on, like you said, with that Moltres.
Absolutely. And now we do see the Excadrill go down, and who comes in? The Gengar comes in, obviously very, very capable of scaring the Mew out at this point. It could have special bulk and just be carrying Will-O-Wisp, but based on counter, I think it's probably more physical. Gumi is a very natural switch, but look at the level. This whole battle has been level 100s. Usually in Wi-Fi battles we see level 50 because the rules are set to lock everyone above 50 down to it. But here, because the rules were set to 100 and this Goodra was not at level 100, unfortunately it does not get leveled up. I'm sure that was a hard loss for Ian, but I'm not sure how much it mattered. Here we see the Keldeo. This set's been getting a lot of utility on YouTube. The Hidden Power Ghost. But unfortunately, it doesn't kill a Gengar from full health. I don't know if they ran the calc. I don't know what this Gengar's investment is. I doubt it's got any bulk, but that was very, very risky to lose our Keldeo this early on. Granted, the Excadrill is gone, but Nikki coming out on top in that battle right there.
Interesting, too, that Nikki carries the Thunderbolt on Gengar now, which we don't see that often. I think that was more common with Mega Gengar. Yeah. So that's definitely interesting to see now. And right now, Ian does the interesting play of going for a U-turn against this Gengar. I don't know if I agree with it specifically because there are rocks on his side of the field, so that is kind of precarious. But then the Weavile switches in an attempt to try to get rid of this Gengar, so that's kind of an interesting play right there.
I think for Ian that was a very crucial. I think that was a misplay. One, rocks are up. Moltres is going to be phenomenally important for dealing with Infernape. We need to keep it at full health. There was no reason to bring it in with rocks up. And why go for U-turn? This thing does not have priority. Go for the safe Air Slash. Kill it. There's no reason to go for U-turn. It's a resisted hit. You're not physically invested. It doesn't kill a Gengar. But now, having lost the Weavile, which looking at the team matchup wasn't very valuable in any way, Ian is able to go into Scizor and trap the Gengar and go for a Bullet Punch. So now let's see, Nikki gets a free switch, obviously, bringing in Infernape, one of her only Mon left, really, that we can tell, at least visibly, obviously stops Scizor. So this is obviously enough to scare Ian out.
And Ian switches in Mew here, probably in an attempt to eat up some of these and go for a counter. It does miss the Blaze Kick, which is important for Ian. I don't know if I necessarily agree with him switching a Mew into that kind of power. But luckily it does miss, and then the Infernape goes for a Rock Slide, trying to get the flinch. So really, Ian is just kind of throwing stuff out at this point, trying to eliminate the only threat that stands really in his way of sweeping the rest of Nikki's team.
And here we see, this was the biggest problem with the play earlier, where Ian allowed rocks to be left up on his side of the field by going for his own rocks before defogging. Because this Infernape is allowed to come in without rocks, we already see it's changed up its attacks, and there's no Life Orb recoil. It could be Expert Belt, but this is more than likely Focus Sash, which means that Moltres will not OHKO it with Air Slash. So Ian is going to have to bank on a lucky flinch to take this thing out. Granted, now that rocks are up, he could always come into Scizor afterwards and bullet punch it. But now that misplay, not getting the rocks up, is going to cost Ian his Moltres.
Absolutely. And as you said, Umbra, here, Moltres does go for the Air Slash, and as you said, it is actually Focus Sash, so that is unfortunate, but so the Infernape goes for the Rock Slide to take out this Moltres, which is honestly really bad for Ian. I actually feel really bad that the Goodra was not at the level that he wanted at, because I feel like this could possibly have been a different battle, seeing as how he did misplay a little bit back there, but I feel like that would have been able to help him out in the future. But here we see that Ian does switch in the Scizor in an attempt to finish off the Infernape, which is not a bad play at all.
Makes perfect sense. Rocks are up. She can't switch out. She needs to stay in. Every time I see this thing's name, I'm like, why is there a Scyther? Why? I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's a nickname.
It's fine.
We're fine. But yes, the Scyther does come in and in fact take out the Infernape. And now I'm not sure I agree with this play by Nikki based on what she reveals about her team later in the battle. While Ambipom can do some work to Scyther might have Roost, and it's going to come out on top of this matchup. I don't really think anyone's going to argue who wins this matchup between the two, assuming Ambipom doesn't have Fire Punch, which it clearly doesn't. And based on what she shows later about her team, I don't think it was worth it just to literally sack off this Ambipom. Because it could have been useful later. Fake Out is always a great move to save for later. But now, Shade.
Pixar comes out, which is actually a Sylveon that I gave to Nikki. This Sylveon runs something that a lot of Sylveons don't use. You see that Ian goes for Swords Dance here, which a lot of Scizors would actually do in this situation, but this has Hidden Power Fire. And it is max special attack, max HP. I run Choice Specs on mine, so Scizor is not going to live that. And that was actually the battle, and honestly, Ian went for the right play, going for that Swords Dance, just not predicting that, because I don't think a lot of people would see that coming, honestly. It's kind of unique in that regard, but I'd like to see that get more attention, because I definitely think it's viable. So that's actually the question of the day that we have for everyone. Do you think that Hidden Power Fire Sylveon is viable? So check out that question, let us know what you think down below in the comments. But great battle, Kayla and Ian. What do you have to say, Umbra?
I mean, that last turn, absolutely phenomenal. I can't fault Ian at all. That was the absolute right move to go for. Most Sylveon do not carry Hidden Power Fire. That's a set that you were pioneering, Shade, and I'm curious to see if our fans think it can be more popular, if other Rock HQ members support it. I think absolutely going for Swords Dance was the right play, but obviously that's a one-shot, especially with Choice Specs. Probably does a serious number even without them, considering that you're modest max investment. But it is interesting. It was a very, very good battle. Ian lost a lot of his Mons early in the game. If he had them left, maybe it would have ended differently. You know, Kayla still had Togekiss sitting in the back. But at the same time, looking at your defensive core, while it worked this time, I have to wonder, that tactic's not going to work on an Aegislash. It's not going to work on an Excadrill. You know, those are things that are not going to get O-code by Hidden Power Fire by any means. So I do have to wonder, what have our other battles with this team been like? How effective has this team been at dealing with the other very, very prevalent steel threats? And is Hidden Power Fire sort of a one-of attack? Does it only hit Scizors? Because it really has there's nothing, you know, you've got Shadow Ball for Aegislash, and for Excadrill, you're not going to be doing anything with Hidden Power Fire. But that is our question of the day. Please let us know, what do you think? And are you interested in having your own Hidden Power Fire Sylveon? Let us know. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting Rock HQ. Nikki, Ian, congrats to both of you. Shade, congrats to you for your Sylveon.
Thank you. One thing I just wanted to throw in really quick. Ian, I don't want you to feel bad about getting hit with that Hidden Power Fire, because that is the same exact Sylveon that you fought against. Actually, O-code Shofu's Scizor in a battle.
That's true, yeah.
So I want you to keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that you're unskilled. It just means that it's not really, I mean, Shofu didn't see it coming. So don't feel bad about that prediction. But yeah, please let us know what you think in the comments, if you think that's a viable set or not. But everyone, thank you so much for watching. We really had a lot of fun doing this new and improved viewer submission from the new and improved Rocket HQ. And I think that's about it.
I think that about wraps it up. If you have not, please hit that like button. The admins really appreciate it. It does make a difference. Help spread the Rocket Gospel. Help this organization grow. As always, this could be you. If you want to send us a viewer submission, the triangle button under Shade is a link to the Google Drive. There's a document in there all about how to submit your own viewer content. But thank you so much for supporting Rocket HQ. Nikki, congrats. Looking forward to seeing more of you in Rocket HQ. And to everyone, thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.